When I started this channel with a friend of mine, the idea was to try and make videos of cars people were selling. In order to try and get some credibility, we thought about approaching some dealerships. Scuderia Graziani had a Koenigsegg in their showroom at the time, and I decided to call on a whim, where I spoke with the owner, Tony Graziani. After a brief chat, Tony said he would meet us and go from there. We met him. He told us to come back on a Sunday, where he came in on his day off to give us access to his showroom for a whole day uninterrupted, allowing us to make our first video. Since then, my friend has moved to Poland and I've moved interstate, and this footage is the last video we made together before we both left. Tony was so approachable on the day that we filmed with him that we went back and interviewed him to make a separate video, which is what this is. It's taken a few years to come together, but thanks Tony for supporting people's passions and sharing yours.
We are in Woolloomooloo, the most beautiful suburb of Sydney, where the best cars are located. We are Scuderia Graziani. It's a family-owned and run prestige and exotic car dealership. Who am I? Tony Graziani. It's myself, my son, Gianpaolo, and Stefania, my daughter. I've been outside since 1984. I was lucky to come here with Alfa Romeo from New York, where I was based for nearly 11 years. A few years later, I had an opportunity to become involved with Maserati. A beautiful, beautiful brand, Italian brand, very romantic brand. So after 20 years with Alfa Romeo, I left the Alfa Romeo franchise and I became the importer of Maserati in Australia. A roller coaster since then, a beautiful moment, some very sour days as well, like happens always in business, but fantastic memories. I feel privileged to be involved in the most prestigious brands that, the dream, child dream of every boy and girls to have some fantastic cars. Yeah. Cars been a dream and a passion since I was a little kid. I studied mechanical engineering and I really loved motor cars. And when I went to work for Alfa Romeo, it's been a dream come true. And lucky enough, when I was at Alfa, I used to work in the research and development. And part of the work was to work on a track facility that Alfa Romeo had. And that's, I think, directly has developed, the appeal for speed. People are born in a beautiful winery and they know everything about wines. And I was lucky in being amongst the car where it was designed, developed, and built. Alfa Romeo was great, a huge company. Maserati was a very small company. And I was lucky enough to meet the managing director of Maserati back in Modena. And he came in Australia to on a job assignment. I met with him, and from almost nothing, just from friendship, he said, Tony, you know what, I'm looking for an importer. Would you be interested? I said, come on, you're serious. Importing Maserati. I was on my own. I started all over the Maserati franchise. I was looking for the house of Maserati. And I saw this building, was up for sale. And this was the building where Mercedes-Benz Australia took off. From here, we grew to the place where in the early 2000s, Maserati joined forces with Ferrari, and as a result of that, there was a change of direction for the brand. A few years later, that partnership came to an end, and I started my own Scuderia Graziani. Best thing happened in my life. When I bought this building, before buying actually, I had an amazing client, Peter Rector, a very, very respected architect. I said, Peter, I'm thinking of buying a building. It's quite run down, and would you like to have a look with me, see what it can be done? And so he came along, looked at the building, and says, oh my God, where do we start? We have to knock him down, jokingly. We bought the building, and a few weeks later, he came back with some massive drawings, and I thought the guy was crazy. Was I doubtful at the beginning? Yes, I was. When we started, we had hardly any cars. It was very, very difficult. Quite frankly, I wasn't sure how it was going to work. There's a lot of prestige car dealers around, and it wasn't easy because firstly, you cannot get the supply of all these expensive cars just overnight. It's just taken a while. I always say my best friends are my clients. So you get a client, you sell them a car, and you don't want them to become an enemy, and eventually you realize you go having a drink with them and they come and visit you, they bring cakes or champagne or whiskey, and this becomes the meeting point. We have now a point where we can almost get whatever we need. We've developed great contacts with suppliers, and so we bring in a car that our clients want. We have now becoming, perhaps by default, but the passion, a representative for the best brands. We've been selling the best McLaren, the SV, Lamborghini, the Porsche 911R. I mean, unthinkable. It was meant to be.